Alright guys, this is just going to be a quick informal Rasial guide. Nothing too heavy, so do not worry. For starters, we'll just go over what I would personally recommend taking. And the first thing, in my opinion, would be a Blood Reaver. Do not think you need a yak, because you can get a Blood Reaver loaded with scrolls. And then if you use scroll ability on your keybinds, you can eat food, use a brew, and use a scroll all in one tick. I'd recommend using a jazz book, although they're a bit expensive at the moment, a Vampirism Aura, a Salve Amulet, and then your best power armor you've got. I'd recommend bringing Vuln Bombs and Dreadnips if you have them, because Dreadnips actually work on Rasial. Bring your rune pouches for things like Disruption Shield and Venge, and then of course bring your Necromancy runes to make sure you can use defensives whilst using Necromancy. Other than that, just get full Adren, summon everything outside the instance. You put Darkness on, command your Ghost, jump in, and you want to get Soul Split on and your Necromancy Prayer. Command your Skeleton, use Split Soul, and then start the fight off with target cycle into a Death Skulls. And now we're just going to build up to 100 Adren here. And we're going to use Living Death, and Adren Pot, preferably on the same tick or as soon as you can afterwards. Use Death Skulls again. And now we're going to just basically essentially build stacks. And basics give you 2 during Living Death, and Touch of Death of course give you the normal 4. And we're just going to be using Finger of Death as much as we can, whilst also using Death Skulls when it comes back off cooldown. Other than that, just try not to use solid foods to lose Adren. Use your brews and familiar heals, and just normal DPS. And there's a few mechanics to look out for. One is when he will use Finger of Death on you, and you can resonance that or just tank it and just eat through it. And the second is that Wall of Ghosts, which I like to stand here because you can easily just escape backwards, which helps having mobile on your armour. A lot of people don't use their scythe here for the reason of him teleporting away, but obviously if you time things properly you can use the scythe and get away. But you'll see later on it's temperamental. But if you land all 3 attacks on your scythe, it's a lot of damage, so it's risk versus reward. And then other than that, it's just normal DPS, keeping track of how many souls he has above his head. Because obviously when he does his soul strike attack, you want to put Necromancy Prayer on and Pray Devotion. After a while, he does that attack, stuns you, and then he's up here, which is really the hard part. So this is when having Reaver Scroll bound helps, because you can spam eat, as you can see here, and you can heal a lot quickly. But if you're feeling confident, you could use Split Soul again, and just unload DPS. Bloat is great for Split Soul, as are Death Skulls, and then just DPS normally. If you're worried about it or taking a lot of damage, just eat. Keep safing when you eat. Other than that, you'll be absolutely fine, because the scrolls and the Reaver allow you to make sure you have enough food for the whole fight, and hopefully you get that end. Good luck guys.